Now, what's going to happen after this reform is that if this rate goes to 5%, your entire 13% delta that you are getting on your ingredients, your cost of raw materials, which is there, is going to help you reduce your price on an overall basis. So, even if your output remains at 5%, which is like a restaurant service,
जी.
this is a big benefit. And if you are, say, having a bakery and you are going to charge at 5% and your input is at 5%, that actually helps you in any which way. So in both the cases, whether you are under that 5% rate without input tax credit or 5% with credit, I think in both the cases, this is going to help reduce the overall cost.
Now, in GST 2.0, if the output tax is reduced to 5% and input tax becomes at an average of 8 to 10%, now, do companies need to claim their refunds from the government? Would this require further documentation? What would be the process for these inverted duties, and what would be the estimated timelines to claim these refunds?
So very interesting question. In fact, till now, what we've been talking about is a very, I would say, good scenario to say my inputs are at 5, output as 5. So there is no outflow, there is no blockages, nothing.
Yeah,
But if you see in the real world, what is going to happen is to say that while your output rate will go to 5%, on the input side, maybe your food ingredients will still be at 5 or lesser or 0. But there'll be a lot of other things which will be at a higher rate. So to give an example, packing material, which may go at 12 or 18, which will be there. Or there might be some other incidental purchases that you are doing which will still be at 18% rate. And especially all your services are still at 18% input
absolutely.
services, right?
Yeah,
So say for instance you are running a bakery or a restaurant, you pay for your rent, you pay for or your consultant,
machinery
your
is
machineries, yeah, your capital goods are at 18%.
correct.
So now your what it means is that you're going to have a higher input tax credit as compared to your output tax.
Correct.
Now this is what we say is a scenario of inversion of duties, where I say I have a higher input taxes as compared to my output.
G.
Now under the law, you are allowed a inverted duty refund only and only in a case where you have inputs which are raw material or goods which are used for manufacturing or producing output which you're going to sell at a lower rate. So to give an
Ah,
example, if you are running a bakery where you are actually going to produce, say, for a moment, I'm saying a cake for which you have ingredients like cocoa and cream and everything which is there, which is at 5, which is there, and you are selling at 5, really speaking, there is no inversion. But the packing material, the boxes or the plastic which you are buying at 18%, to that extent, you can say that there is an inversion and I can claim refund of that because that's going at a part of the product. But the input services which are there for producing whatever you are going to sell, you are never going to be allowed a refund of that. The capital goods like the kitchen cutlery, or for that matter, you have done a new restaurant or a new cafe or a bakery, you're never going to get refund of that. So capital goods and input services are never going to form part of your inverted duty refund. Pure play products which goes into producing the output, you get a refund. The other thing which you need to keep in mind is to say if you are a pure trader or distributor, to say you're buying and selling, say you sell cream to him and he sells cream further, and this can happen in certain cases where, especially on the transition, you will not get a refund. So what you need to keep in mind is to say that you need to be a manufacturer or a producer, not a trader, and the raw material which is there or the packing material should be at a higher rate. Only to that limited extent you can claim a refund, nothing beyond that.
so according to you, what direct impact will bakery chains and cafe owners see on their cost structures and margins?
So if everything is the same, say I'm not changing my ingredients, I'm not going to up the premium products that we're talking about, and I'm buying the same ingredients and I'm going to sell my same output product which is there. I think what happens is most of the products, the ingredients rate is also going down from 18 or 12 to 5, which means there is a big delta which I'm getting on my input cost.
Correct.
Now, on the output side, if I'm a bakery, if I'm just selling it as it is, I think the price reduction really benefits directly. It also helps in a manner to say that if I'm a restaurant or a cafe owner where I was going under 5% scheme without ITC, I think there the benefit is far more higher because you're directly your output remaining the same. You're going to save that 7 or 13% as the case may be, which is actually going to straightway impact your bottom line. Which means that you are going to benefit in terms of increase in cost of your raw materials or things which were there which have gone up. You balance it out, and you are also able to give that benefit to your consumers as well. Because see, the 5% output GST remains as it is for a restaurant or a cafe. That does not change.
Correct.
Your product and services. So if you see in a restaurant, if you're going, you're not only buying a product, it's a service that you're looking at, and that's why it's classified. So the factor to say, am I changing my price there only because my input has changed, is something that you correlate to say, I've invested in a restaurant, done the fit outs, I'm having the service, etc. And hence it's not only the raw material ingredient cost which is going to build up my final price, but it does the various other things to create the ambience and the infrastructure that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So thereby you have a better way in which you're going to make more margins as compared to what you are doing, and probably provide better services to your consumer at a better cost, balancing it out. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a very important thing.